Unless you don't want your Twitter tagged.
Oh, no. I don't care.
Do you have anything bad on there?
No.
Okay.
At @DKirk_06.
You hit it?
Yep.
Nice. Okay. All right, Finn, you let me know we are live right now. I got the tweet out. Oh, shit, dropped it on my laptop. Okay.
It's weird to see myself on my thing, but it works.
Okay.
My RuneScape almost just popped up, bro.
Cutting down some trees or what?
Dude, just cutting trees, cooking some fish, bro. Maybe fighting a ogre here and there. Doing what I need to.
Well, just living life is what it sounds like. You know? Just living life. Just living your life to the fullest.
normal day-to-day, basically, is what it is.
Okay. You guys ready?
About to be.
What are you waiting for?
My mental.
Your mental?
Yeah.
You're letting it get back into...
I think I should be good.
I think I'm going to lose my voice by the end of this.
I know, me too. I'm pretty tired. I forgot to wash my face, but I'm okay. I think
I'm not even tired. I just know my voice is going. I can feel it.
Okay.
It actually kind of sounds sexier, to be honest.
Does it?
Sounds deeper and like...
Your voice is always sexy, Wyatt.
Thank you.
Dude, the guy in front of us, just so everybody... Well, we haven't even started the pod, so this might not get added, but...
This is for stream only.
Yeah, but the person in front of you was like, bro, perfect podcast voice.
He said
radio voice, or
he said golden diaphragm or something like that.
Yeah, he was gassing you up, which was...
And then he was very interested in how everything started. He asked me like multiple times.
What?
Awesome.
On what started?
How like we started the show.
This show?
Uh-huh.
What'd you say?
I basically just gave him the rundown, like how me and you met, and then how you had tweeted out, and then one of my Discord mods woke me up, which I never wake up. It's very hard to wake me up, and my phone buzzed from his notification, and I just woke up instantly. Like it was a sign.
I still don't understand that. So did you...
He sent me the tweet.
But it was in the morning, wasn't it? It was early in the morning.
So it was like 7 a.m. because you had tweeted it out at like 10.
Yeah, I think I was... Yeah.
I have the sticker Dia gave me. Here's this for the camera. It's caustic as a cat.
Oh my gosh, I saw him advertise that.
So sick.
Okay.
You guys ready?
Yep, I'm ready to go.
I'm going in blind here. I got no real
I'm going
schedule.
in. That we can say that too.
All right, here we go. Let's just get it going. 3, 2, 1. Ooh! Oh, that hurt. I'm gonna try that again. 3, 2, 1. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Apex the Podcast. I tried to do my little ooh thing, and my voice is almost gone, so I can't do it. I can't hit you guys with the normal way I introduce the show, but we are back. Bracket stage is officially done. We're going to go through all of the storylines from today, and we're going to go through all of the teams that surprisingly didn't make it, some of the teams who barely squeaked by, and we're going to do it all right now. I want to give a quick shout out to our boy Donny. He's behind the camera right now. He's going to be coming in when we start talking about the finals and what we think for tomorrow, predictions wise. But he's just watching over the stream right now. Donny, say what's up.
What's going on, everybody?
Donny, he came with Connor, our video editor. They both came down, and he's got an incredible Apex mind, and so I felt like his voice needed to be heard on this show. So he will be throwing his input in here. You're not going to be able to see him till a little bit later. If you're watching, if you're listening, then you will hear him just the same as you hear everybody else who's been on the show. But shout out Donny for hopping on. Very excited to have him on. And then Finn, you are also here.
I am, and I am awake.
Barely.
Yeah, barely. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie to you. I'm barely awake, but I'm awake.
It's 12:50, and bracket stage was nuts. And this was the first day that we didn't like really go back or like take a break. We stayed there the whole day, and we basically sat there the whole day.
Well, here's the main reason why. Basically, if you leave your spot at all throughout the day, that spot is gone because we had pretty
No.
good seats. So
We were not giving those up. Well, we had bad seats for the first set, and we realized real quick that we needed better seats for the next two
correct.
sets.
Yeah. So we made the sacrifice, a healthy sacrifice, I would say.
Yeah.
I did have to pay for food inside the stadium, which is absolutely criminal, by the way. I paid for
that's
a beer.
not Apex's fault. That's just
yeah,
pricing.
no, right. But I feel like we should talk about that before we.
They said jumbo hot dog.
Yeah, no, you can explain this. I felt bad for you. Continue.
It was not a jumbo hot dog. I'm okay if you give me a hot dog that's not very big and I pay a little bit extra for it. I think it was like $8. But don't say jumbo hot dog. Just say hot dog. Like if the screen would have just said hot dog, then I would have been like, oh, okay. I felt taken aback when they pulled out the jumbo hot dog and it was anything but. That's all I'm saying.
So it's just like a regular hot dog you get at Walmart.
Yeah. It was just a regular
And
dog.
you paid how much?
Too much.
Yeah, I know.
It was like $8. It was like $8.
$8 for a hot dog is absolutely insane. I don't care if it's the best, even if it's a brat. $8 for a brat is gross.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of money for that.
Yeah. So that was tough. But we got our seats and we stayed there basically the whole day and we never really left.
I paid $34 for a beer and 2 pieces of pizza.
What do we think? Is that too much? That's got to be too much.
Dude, are you serious? I'm $34. The amount of stuff that I can get food-wise at Taco Bell for $34.
You can buy the whole menu.
There's a lot. I mean, I'm just saying. I understand what they have to do, and like
It is
USC.
California.
Dude, that's another thing. Being from Arkansas, the prices of stuff just
Here, yeah.
is so much more.
Jayhawk said the same thing. We went to Raising Cane's after, and he said, "Dude, Raising Cane's where I'm from is $8 for the
Yeah.
3-piece meal or 6-piece. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And he was like, I just paid $15.
That's exactly how I paid for a 6 count of chicken tendies. Don't make fun of me, and or whatever. And that was $20.
Damn.
And I was like $20.
Yeah.
Back home, that's like 14 maybe.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
Sorry.
But, Sorry,
Okay.
that was our little rant. We're tired. We're not
fine.
we're zoned out. But okay, let's kick it off with losers round number 1. Losers round 1 kicked off the day. I don't think it matters really who won this thing, but I guess I'll just go through the top 4. It was Geared Gaming, Kinotrope, Navi, Omit, and Wonton Dumplings. Those were your top 4 teams, or actually top 5. Omit and Wonton Dumplings ended up tying. But I don't think that really matters as much as some of the other storylines leading into this. And I think the first one, and one that we're probably going to talk about a little bit more going on, Cloud9. Throw your 9s up. Get your 9s up.
Listen, I think Wyatt has come to conclusion that he wants to like.
Tomorrow, all day long. If you're listening if you're listening to the pod or you're watching the stream right now, tomorrow all day long, we're getting our 9s up. We're getting our 9s up. Okay. I think that's going to be the new thing for Cloud9. Hopefully they start to take that. I tweeted it out, a picture of me holding my 9s up, and Cloud9, the account, liked it. So
Did they really?
They liked it. Yeah. So I think that's going to be a thing in the future, getting your 9s up. Just get your 9s up.
And you started that.
Yeah.
I mean, the org's been around for years, like probably more than a decade.
They've probably done it before.
They may have done it before, but you know what? You brought it to Apex.
I brought it back, and I brought it to Apex.
That's right.
So I'm feeling good. But Cloud9, yesterday when we were talking to Jayhawk and Jumba, we were talking about how this was one of the teams where they were in that weird tier in NA where it didn't, you wouldn't be surprised if they didn't make it. And it had no disrespect to the team, but it's a relatively newer team. And before the season had even started, there was a lot of weird turmoil with everything because originally that roster was Saucer, Sleepy Panda, and who?
It was chaotic too.
Chaotic, yeah. I'm blanking on
Dude,
the name.
I just
They bring in Naughty instead. They get rid of Sleepy Panda. you can listen to that interview of that whole
And I
situation.
believe too, real quick, they had to play a week without Naughty, correct?
Yeah, they had to
Because
play
of
the first week
rules.
of Pro League.
Yeah, but Sleepy
Yeah.
Pino was a G and actually
played
played.
for him.
Handle that with absolute
yeah,
class.
He
Yeah.
did. He did. He was very classy about it.
Yeah, correct.
So their season already starts a little bit rocky. They bring in Naughty, and I think a lot of people kind of, because of the way the Sleepy Panda situation happened, they were just not really on board with Cloud9. But as the season started to pull itself along, they were kind of always sitting on the outside looking in until near the middle/end, where they started to string together some really good match days. Then they come here, they start off real slow. They go to losers number 1, and it wasn't like a barn burner of a finish, but it was enough. Like they get into the top bracket. Consistency. And
Yeah.
that's the thing I think for Cloud9 the entire Pro League season you weren't really getting. You didn't know what you were going to get. It was a weird mixture of, who knows what Cloud9's bringing today. And then now, like this entire day, they brought it.
Okay, maybe I'm faded, and I don't actually. At some point, and I don't know under what organization. Wow, this is how tired I am, and how like out of the loop. Chaotic and Naughty played with Zach under what organization?
E8.
Was it under E8?
Yeah.
I was like, I think it's E8, but I wasn't sure. So like Chaotic and Naughty have a lot of chem already. And then you throw in Sauce. So this was kind of more going into the Pro League situation. But like really, that roster has a lot of experience together. I mean, you could say minus Sauce, but Sauce has been around for literally since the beginning of the game. Anyway, cool story, by the way. He almost retired. I saw a tweet. He said, I almost retired. I almost retired 7 months ago. And then he said, now, instead of being retired, I'm going to grand finals.
A match day final.
And I'm at my first LAN.
Or a land day final.
Which is pretty sick to honestly say that. So
it is. It's really cool, and they were just consistent. There's no real story to tell other than the consistency.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just an overall improvement. I think you're just seeing with that roster having played a little bit longer together. I think that the more, and especially with, shout out to Shiny too as their coach.
I was dripped out.
Absolutely.
Just dripped out behind him. He looked so good, so clean.
Yeah.
You got to add that in there. It was awesome.
Oh, dude, yeah, his suit or his suit jacket.
The
Yeah.
suit jacket was incredible.
Yeah, the suit jacket look was good.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
Other story here was, I guess the biggest one coming out of this is Luminosity making it by 1 point. And
No, that's your biggest point?
you don't think that's
No,
the
I
biggest
think there's
one?
another one, but you can continue. Keep going.
I mean, Luminosity, we spent the last 2 pods ripping them apart.
Absolutely.
Ripping them apart. And this day was rocky as well, but they finished it out. And I think everybody in the arena, whatever you think about the situation right now, I think everybody can agree that LG being there on a final, I think is necessary. I think it's necessary to have.
Necessary?
I think it's necessary to have. Having Sweet there is necessary.
Okay.
Whether you like them or dislike them. If you like them, then you want them to do well. If you dislike them, you're like, okay, well, they made it, but they didn't perform once again. You can go whichever direction you want with that. But I think Sweet needs to be there. Very similar to I think Hal needs to be there. Like, those are 2 guys you need to have in there.
Well, and I think, too, just based off just the crowd reactions, anytime LG's in the middle of something, it might be the second loudest behind the TSM fans right now.
Exactly.
So I kind of agree with what you're getting at, that just any finals group with Sweet and Luminosity is just better for the game in general.
I think it's just better. But they didn't have their marquee awesome day. And they had a better block later on when we get into the end there, when we get into losers 2. But this one, they just barely squeak in it's 1 point. They squeak in by 1 point, and they're in there now.
Yeah. And they beat out what I thought was probably the biggest. So, yes, I agree. LG making it. They still didn't look good, though.
No,
they honestly played pretty bad, and I didn't think they were going to make it, to be honest, but they did. But their games are very inconsistent, which is kind of been the name of the game. The biggest upset for me, and I don't know how. I mean, I know how because I watched a lot of their. I was watching them intently. Was Oxygen Esports being the first NA team out of the groups, out of the tournament, and what made me mad is it didn't feel like they were making it. They made one adjustment, but realistically, most of their adjustments, they didn't make any. Like, they kept running into the only team that I think in this lobby, besides maybe Cloud9, could keep up with them in an actual team fight, which was DSG. They just kept finding themselves fighting DSG in either their rotates or like into mid to late, which the mid to late is kind of hard to control. You can't really control what DSG is going to do. You don't know if they're going to be zone wrapping. You don't know if they're just going to be playing the zone straight up. Like, a lot of that depends on where zone is for DSG, what type of like weaponry they're working with, and like realistically, where are they trying to play aggressive or not? Which is most of the time yes, but what Design likes to call, and Timmy, is they like to call a lot of zone wraps so that they can play like the more lighter side. It's pretty common. It's what you see with what DZ does quite a bit. So anyway, to say that I think Oxygen, so specifically on like World's Edge, Oxygen lands at Lava Fissure, and then DSG obviously lands at Thermal. So they're going to be going on pretty much the same rotational path. Like DSG is going to be behind them for most of it, right? And we saw so many north zones, especially on World's Edge.
Dude.
Ridiculous. Now there was one that ended up like near cement, like over by like Grandma's house or like Epicenter survey camp type of deal. Anyway, that was the only game that I saw them make an adjustment of, like, not slow balling their not slow rolling their rotates, but instead they tried to like actually make a beeline. They were playing a lot of edge, which is like not really Oxygen style. And when they had like a somewhat prio spot or a prio like POI to get to a certain spot. Anyway, long story short to say, I didn't really like the way Oxygen played today. I thought they were going to rebound. I thought they were going to make adjustments, because if you keep dying to the same team, you need to know where that team is landing, which they obviously know, and they've been knowing that Disguise lands there. And if that's the only team that you feel like can kill you, you should be making an adjustment to like, okay, then we need to be the ones that are hard wrapping to the other side to try to be as far away as possible from the team that is giving us the most grief, and then go from there. And this team, Oxygen, literally lost by 1 point. And if you go back to like what we were talking about last night, Oxygen didn't make winners final by 1 point. So like I mean, obviously this team has experience. This team has like a chance to be very, very good. I don't see them making any changes, even though this is like a disappointing finish for them. But this is something that they might need to be able to be like, they have a ton of resources, but I think that's something that they need to potentially improve on. Of like, okay, let's make an adjustment and let's continue on with this land. But
yeah,
they didn't do that.
Oxygen, when you bring up resources, they're one of the few orgs that really give their players, like, I shouldn't say one of the few orgs because that's not necessarily correct, but remember when they first came onto the scene and they were signed by Oxygen, they had everything at their disposal. They had analysts, they had
team manager, analyst, coach, like
content stuff, like they
everything.
They had everything. And so I think, like you mentioned, a BR is so fickle sometimes, and what it can come down to is just 2 measly points. And so I don't think they need to change anything. I think really just what happens going into split 2 is just a little bit more focus. Sometimes you need something like this to happen to kind of kickstart whatever you needed, like whatever motivation you needed going into the next one. Dude. Right? Like I know this isn't even really in the same ballpark, but maybe it is. Dark Zero loses, they don't even make the finals, and then that motivation speeds them up, gets them to where yesterday we saw them break records, insane records, and maybe this is just what Oxygen needs to kick them into that next gear.
Yeah, I mean, I'm. They're still pretty like young.
Yeah.
Like all three of them still pretty young. So I think just working on it. But yeah. I mean, not much more for me to say there. I liked Passion UA.
Can we talk about Riddle?
Hold on real quick. Can I give Passion UA like,
Give them their flowers.
because this is a full Ukraine team, and like they've been, first off, it was hard for them to get their visas, and then two, they've been playing in a literal like war zone, and then they still qualified, and like they were very close to making it to losers round 2.
Three teams tied for making it outside of the cutoff with 33 points. So Luminosity had 34, and then it was Oxygen, Passion, and Riddle all had 33.
Yeah, I just have a lot of respect, so I feel like we should at least give them flowers for all the hard work that they're doing, and like honestly, just like they're consider like all of their circumstances, being able to be that close and being able to do well enough in like a pro league type of scenario with all the stuff that's going on in their, the real world,
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
anyway, that's that we can. I'm fine with everything else.
When I say talk about Riddle, I just wanted to show off my shirt. Is really all.
Oh yeah, my bad. Sorry, we need to talk about Riddle for a second because this was Wyatt's new obsession. What was it, last night?
Yeah, I saw the shirt on Thursday on the first day, and I was like, I absolutely need that.
Okay.
But I didn't buy it on Thursday. I bought it on Friday, and then I was like, okay, these are my guys. I still don't know I still don't know the team's names yet, and I think I'm just
names of the people on the roster.
I don't know the names of the people on the roster.
Hold on, real quick.
I think I might keep it that way.
Can I say this? Why I asked Wyatt again this morning if he had studied any names. He called Yukio Oreo. So I was like,
hand up, that's an accident. Hand up, accident. But
which one's Oreo to you?
Yukio. This one.
You could be correct. I actually
don't even know.
I don't even know. Anyway, continue on.
No, I just wanted to say they did have two really decent games, but it felt like I can't really break down Riddle too much because every time they died, they were off screen, and it just felt like they were dying in times where not too many people were fighting. Like it felt like you would look up at the screen, it would be kind of just silent, and then you just see Riddle died, and you're like, "What the fuck happened?" And I'd have to go back and look to figure it out. But they did have two really good, decent days, and honestly, the fight that screwed them was on Storm Point. I don't know who was running the Gibraltar, but he couldn't hit a shot. Could not hit a shot. He was just dancing around. I don't know. I forgot who they were fighting. I feel like it was.
It was a solo from, because it was C9. It was Kinotrope because they ended up winning that game, and then
it might have been Heroes. Was it?
Oh,
Heroes?
it could have been Heroes maybe, but I know you're.
Well, I think Navi was the third team in that exchange, wasn't it?
Wasn't it?
Maybe it was Navi.
Like Navi wasn't. I don't think the one that be in the 1v1 at the end, but I believe Navi was the third team on the other side of zone on that one.
Yeah, no, the team who won that game was Heroes.
Good
Heroes
comms.
won that
Yeah, they
game,
did.
and Riddle got second,
And Cloud9 got third.
and Cloud9 got third. But it could have been.
Bro, that should have been way cleaner.
Bro, well,
it was
first of
really
all-
good bubble. Okay, first off, I thought the usage of the bubble was good, but then, dude, I don't know who was missing shots, but they were missing a lot of shots.
Every shot.
I'm shitting on the Gibby, but even before that, there was another fight exchange where it was just open and clean, and just no shots were hitting.
Right.
And that really made. I mean, literally, it made the difference of them going into losers round 2 and being eliminated from the entire tournament. So that one little fight, you talk about, little things that can keep you out from moving on. That fight goes differently. They just hit a few more shots there. We're not even talking about LG. Or actually, we're talking way more about LG and the fact that they didn't make it.
Because they didn't make it, or what?
And they wouldn't have made it. So,
Yeah.
Shout out Riddle, though. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on Riddle throughout.
He has a
Split
shirt
two.
now, so
I
he's
have a
definitely
shirt.
he will be seeing them.
I have a shirt. And
Every week.
I'll be seeing
Maybe
him every week.
every other week he'll see it, the shirt.
Last thing on this block for me is just to give a quick shout out to the BR Demons. We hyped them up a lot. They get eliminated, but this is a team that I am very interested in going into Split 2 because it felt like a lot of their 3v3 fights, just straight up 3v3 fights, they were really good. Really good. And I believe they're South American.
Yeah, they're still they're South American. I'm not sure. I don't know exactly what it looks like for them like going forward, but I'm sure they'll stick as a team.
Yeah. I don't see them changing.
I also don't know if it's like possible, but like moving to a region that has a pro league might be something that they could maybe put on the table, but I don't know if they can do that.
Might be out of the realm of
I know,
possibility.
that's what I'm saying. Like, it might not be the case, but
even if not, if they stay in SA and then they just continue to come back to these lands and perform like they did, they caught my eye. And I'm sure there was a few others who were like, I got to watch this team moving forward. Okay, let's move on into winners round number 1.
okay, can we say this?
Round 1.
The atmosphere today was very
the
lit.
best. Dude, it was the best.
It was
I forgot doing this in losers round 1, but there was a crazy clutch with Kinotrope against Geared Gaming. This crazy clutch next to a tree. I believe it was on Storm Point. The roof almost came off the place during the clutch. It was awesome. Like going back to your atmosphere thing. I don't want to go back to losers. I'm just saying like the atmosphere thing was awesome all the way through. It was so cool.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking up to like the second deck being filled, and that was definitely not what it was like. You know, understandably on the group stages, but today was an absolutely insane environment. It was a ton of fun from start to finish. From
start to finish, it was, and I think that it made it a lot easier for us to not want to walk around and do anything and to want to hold on to our seats because we knew how awesome it was. You know, like it made us want to stay cemented where we were. Going into winners round number 1, actually winners the only round. We got Fnatic taking that one. They got first. Second was Reject Winity. Third was Serenity. Fourth was 2R1C. And tied for fourth was Dark Zero. Let's go through this one real quick because there was some really, really good teams who ended up not making it. And probably the biggest story and the biggest game, the final game, Nasky and 07 come through to win, giving themselves the 10th position by 1 point. Actually, not even a point. It was just a tiebreaker with E8.
right. So since they had won a game and EA hadn't won a game, that's the first like tiebreaker checkpoint, basically.
Yeah.
And since they had won, they got it. I was watching it live and I thought, I don't think they can. I was like, I don't think they can do that. I think
You
it's
said
over.
it out loud. You're like, they can't.
I don't think they
move
can
on.
make it. And then I get absolutely destroyed in that regard. And I was like,
It was 15 seconds later.
I was happily wrong.
Yeah.
Like, if that makes sense. So, a lot. I mean, the first thing that sticks out to me, TSM not making it.
Yeah,
And-
TSM, their day was, or their winners was so bad. I don't even have a memory of them really doing anything.
It's because they were dead most of the time.
They were just dead.
Which is weird. It was just like oh gosh, like TSM is not in a. They just didn't find their groove. So
I think the word that came to mind for me was erratic. They felt like they were all over the place.
Yeah.
And they could not, like you said, kind of get in that flow state that we know what TSM can.
Yeah, they just could never really get set. TSM was just, I mean, you said it perfectly, erratic. The other one too, dead last, both Complexity and Furia. They were having some fun with each other on Twitter, not the players, but the actual like social
Organization.
media, the orgs, just talking about how every time they got in a fight, it felt like they were just in a death box. Like neither team could get anything going.
it's so troll to see from your org.
I know. But at the same time, like,
That
what are
is
you going to
so
say?
troll.
You know, like, especially with the expectations they both had. Dawn, I know you said some stuff about Furia. It just felt like they could never get a clean 3v3 on any of their fights.
100%. Yeah. I mean, I really didn't think just from watching, kind of where they were, how they're setting themselves up with their rotates. It wasn't really that bad. It's just every 3v3 they got into, either they just didn't get that opening damage or they just ended up getting thirded immediately. I mean, we'll talk more obviously about the second losers bracket because there's more obviously happening with them there, but yeah, it was disappointing to say the least for them. Sure,
there was a lot of big names that ended up going to losers 2, and it was a very, very stacked losers 2.
Dude, you got Alliance, Elevate, or excuse me, E8, Space Station, Legends Gaming that had Koi, TSM, Crazy Raccoon. Not really I wasn't super surprised. Complexity and Furia, and you're just like,
how the hell did all these teams make it?
yeah, you're like, wait a second,
like what's going on here? It was just a lot of those teams just had very, very off days or blocks.
Well, I would say Alliance also had a pretty off. I mean, well, the teams that got eliminated definitely had off games, sure, but the okay, we'll get into it in the next block, but very impressed by Elevate and Alliance on that rebound, but specifically Elevate. Being that team, I've been there, where you're on the bubble and you lose a game either by 1 point or you lose in a tiebreaker. That sucks really, really bad. And they had the mental fortitude to be okay, backs against a wall. I think they approached it in a really good, good
Positive
way. Yeah, exactly. And then I think they used that energy, and we'll get into it. But E8 was really good in the losers final. So, but a little surprised to see Alliance there. I saw they couldn't get a groove going. Furia, I think we can get into them a little bit later. But I was a little disappointed in their performance today. Let's see. Any surprise? Well, first off, I was a little surprised to see Fnatic absolutely piecing. They had 89 total points through 6 games, which I know that's not it's not a DZ performance, okay? But for Fnatic and how stacked this lobby was, their World's Edge was popping. I saw UCAF had a nasty double snipe in a 3v3. He was on top of icicles or the little hill overlooking underlooking frag east. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And then he hit those nice snipes with the Crave. Won them the fight, and I was like, they're just they just have a day, you know.
And it's weird to say because of how big of a day Dark Zero had yesterday, but you look at the points: 89 in first with Fnatic, 59 in second, 30 points clear of the next team. They were on a tear, and if we don't see Dark Zero do what they do yesterday, you look at this and you're like, that's historic. That is a sick performance from Fnatic.
Well, for other perspective, they had 51 kills, which is more points than third place Serenity had. Yeah. I mean, and I think that's what made 07's clutch even crazier, is that the 3v3 was against Fnatic
right,
to secure that. And it's Fnatic hadn't lost a 3v3 what it felt like for hours.
Dude, Nasky has this, he's got this shit to him where the clutch gene is within him at all. He always seems to be in those moments where it's just holy shit, how did this just happen?
Well, I think it's a lot of just from watching him in the past. He just has so much self-belief.
Yeah.
That I think, and that when you have that in yourself, you can also then pass it on to your teammates so that their confidence in themselves is through the roof. And again, you kind of go into those situations just get our best effort. If it works, it works. It doesn't, it doesn't. But we know at the end of the day, we give it our best. And more often than not, it works out in those cases.
100%. And I love how he hit the cold Cole Palmer celebration after he did it. Dude, I tweeted this out, and I'm going to start really tracking this in the future. This is definitely going to be a Wyatt stat. There are teams who celebrate wins that when I watch it, I say that is a LAN winning champion. That's a LAN winning celebration. Nasky always has a land-winning celebration. He's got it in him. He's got it in, like, he's looking at the crowd. He's getting them hyped up. He's hitting the cold Cole Palmer celebration. He's doing all of that. Like, he's got it there. There's some teams who win that they're missing daps. You know, their hugs are awkward. They do the classic. They go for the knucks, and then they open their hand up because the other person has their hand open.
But not everybody celebrates the same, though.
They don't, but that's what separates them from being a championship-winning team and not. You know, that's what I see, right?
Okay.
I see some
hold
bad
on.
ones.
So you're saying, I'm pretty sure I saw Fnatic like not do any
That's
pop
also
off.
cool, though. That's also good.
So any type of
No,
so wait,
it just has
you
to-
just
it has
literally
to work.
generalized that so hard.
It has to work, is what I'm saying. So if you're going to be somebody who gets hype, everybody's got to get hype. Look, you want me to name like some good ones? I love when the guys
He's
win.
obviously got it in his head.
I
So
love
yes,
when the
continue.
guys win a game and they all hug, like they all get in a big group hug together, like right after, like in hockey when you score a goal, you're all hugging and stuff like that. I think Fnatic hit one of those, and I was like, "That's clean." I mentioned this like a while ago on the podcast when we first started. I said I was looking through some of Sweet's like celebrations when he wins, and I was like, "Dude, it's awkward sometimes." Like missed hugs, missed daps, bad handshakes, and lo and behold, never won a LAN. That's all I'm saying.
Got levels to this clearly.
It's clearly on the same plane.
No, hold on. I think
I have a point, I think.
you kind of are correct in a way.
Like, think about when TSM wins. The way Hal jumps off the chair and grabs the guys and, like, brings them all in together. Championship winning. That's a championship winning celebration.
Dude.
Dark Zero, they had Jen Burton about to crawl over the table. You've got Zero about to make out with Sykes. After they won another game to start the day. By the way, we didn't even mention that they won 4 straight games, not 3, because they started off with, like, when they first.
There was a C note, yeah.
Yeah, they won again, and
Which is a weird zone, by the way. That was a zone that I hadn't seen since I was playing, which is a long time ago.
Like, dude, if you're about to kiss your homie after you win, that's championship winning DNA.
You're right.
That's championship winning DNA.
That is.
Right? So I think there's something to be said there. And Nasky's got it. He's got his celebrations. He's got it. That's all I'm saying.
I will say one of the coldest things was seeing the talent desk and the analysts all hitting the salute.
Yeah.
That was one of the coldest pictures I think I've seen in quite a while.
You gotta love that. You gotta love it. Yeah, that's all I have to contribute.
So something to remember about specifically this set is Fnatic starts out with 10 points tomorrow. And then Reject starts with 9, Serenity starts with 8. Did you know this? Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have the points now. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, really, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it kind of matters. It could potentially matter a lot. It could potentially not matter at all. But I think Fnatic, one of the biggest things that they have consistently found themselves, like so APAC North as a region has stereotypically, historically done very poorly in championships, like when they make it there. Usually it's Fnatic, was old Crazy Raccoon sometimes. Oh, wait. No, Crazy Raccoon never made it to the finals, actually, now I remember. But Fnatic, I'm trying to think, North Epsom, whenever they were on fire. There's other APAC North teams that I can't think of. Riddle, I think.
Dreamfire in that?
Dreamfire, I think, does Dreamfire count?
I can't remember if they're
I
APAC
think
North
that,
or
yeah,
South.
I think that counts. But yeah, Dreamfire definitely. But stuff like they just haven't historically done well. I think Fnatic starting with 10 points tomorrow could help if they know, like, okay, we have a 10-point lead over 10 teams already starting out. Maybe that gives them some confidence, like, going into it. That'll help them get, like, jumpstart their
Day.
Yeah. I mean, it can set you up to have some success. I mean, I need to check Wikipedia, but I'm pretty sure, like, statistically, I mean, obviously TSM and DZ have been the only ones that start, like, that win LAN, but I'm pretty sure most of the time, I think maybe with the exception of maybe TSM, but usually DZ is up there and they're already ahead, and then it just like they can get to match point in 3 games, and it's like, okay, things are getting crazy, stuff like that. But
yeah, okay. I don't have anything else on winners one because I guess the only thing I have would be I felt really bad for E8 at the time. That was quickly done away with as we get into losers 2.
right.
Do you guys want to just go into it?
Yeah, I was just to say real quick the parity we have in the top 10, and just in terms of EMEA getting in there, APAC North. I mean, I think that's something that usually is pretty dominated by NA teams, and to kind of see the parity and maybe a little bit different of a script tomorrow, I think it'll be a lot of fun.
It's great to see. It's great to see from all regions.
I also think on World's Edge, this is whenever it began being, besides 1 or 2 games. I think there's only one game that wasn't. I think I saw 5 trial zones today.
Dude, way too many.
And it started here.
And it was so funny because we were talking about how the crowd was so much better today, and like just like it
Active,
just
like proactive.
very proactive.
Right.
The 4th time we saw the trial zone, people started booing. I thought that was so funny. I was like, that's hilarious.
It's very talented. I mean, I didn't boo, but in my head I was thinking, dude,
what the hell's going on?
Yeah, it's
and we'll get. I mean, the Alliance that sucked.
Well, hold on, I'm gonna roast them later, but we can move to losers bracket too.
Let's do it then.
Wait, this was less like I felt less bad about these teams like having to go to losers bracket round 2 because I knew they at least have another shot. So I really didn't feel like
it wasn't too bad.
No,
I just really felt bad for E8.
Yeah, E8 was about the only one that I actually really truly felt bad for.
And the reason why I feel so bad for E8 is Zach Mazer is always stressed out. Even when he was winning games yesterday, they win the 2. Did they win them back to back or did they win them split?
I don't think they won it back to back, but they might. No,
won
maybe
2.
they did.
I think it was a back-to-back, if I remember
Either way,
correctly.
they won.
And Zach is so stressed. He's always stressed, and it's just like I feel like I don't know what kind of pressure he puts on himself. Obviously,
Does that play into his baldness?
Could.
I don't know if that's
Could be a
thing, but maybe
it could definitely be a part. But he's always stressed, and I'm so happy because moving into losers round 2, our winner of losers round 2 was E8, Zach and the boys. Zach is playing his ass off. His calls right now are putting them in such great spots, and that's not to take anything away from Shuby or Zap because they are doing their shit too. They are playing their asses off as well. But dude, E8, awesome. They win the day, disguised to Cloud9 3, and number 4 was Kino Trope. I guess
it doesn't necessarily.
It doesn't really
This
matter.
one doesn't matter.
It does not matter as long as you just got top 10.
Correct.
Really, what matters is the bottom of this. Surprisingly, where the bottom of it. By 2 points, Alliance gets in, and by I think 9 points, Luminosity gets in. But there were
some sketchy games.
They were on the outside looking in all the way up until the final game, and even on the final game when they get in, they are sitting there just hoping that Crazy Raccoons dies. And Crazy Raccoons, they had a chance, but I didn't see it realistically from where their position was.
Well, yeah, they're stuck. They're stuck being gate kept by a caustic inside down beast, and zone is they have like a smidge of. I mean, dude, you're just gonna die. You're just dead. Like
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. And I think they probably made the correct play. They were just trying to have somebody. They had 2 people try to go out to like have some sort of miracle like gunfight and win to like set up for a maybe 1v1. But realistically, they left 1 person inside to try and stall heal, basically, to try and get the highest placement that they could. I think they made the right play for what it was, but at that point, it was too late. Like that's not something I really want to harp on too much. But yeah, I think one of the biggest and weird things was this felt so top heavy whenever I was watching it, because I felt like going into it, we were in game 4, and most of the teams
We're solidified.
Well, at the top, like the top 4 were like for sure at that point, but from like 5 to 13, everybody had about like 17 to 14 points, and I was like, this is a very weird like block because because it was so pretty top heavy. Therefore it was going to lower the threshold, which means that there's probably less kills. So I thought I don't know. I just thought that was somewhat interesting. I think it made for an interesting dynamic towards like the end games and something. One of my more critical thoughts for like a team like Furia, where they started playing aggressive towards the end games, like what, game 4, game 5, and definitely game 6.
They made a big push at the end.
Yeah, and sometimes that's okay. Again, I'm still very shocked, or not shocked, but like Madness's mechanics are pretty disgusting. I know I said that last night, but like I saw a play where they were fighting the original team that was in Jurassic, and he
flipped and shot the
PK he
shot.
Did a 180 like PK shot, and I was like, that was like flawless. I was trying to think, dude, if I saw that and I was playing ranked, like say I died and I watched them play and I saw that in ranked, I would have been like
cheating.
If I didn't know that was an actual pro person, that person is getting banned. Like, I am trying to report them as a cheater.
It was so clean. It was such a clean shot. I didn't even see the damage numbers go off. I had to look at the kill thing to see the guy go down to realize that he had actually knocked the guy because he had fully turned, shot, and then turned back before you could even see the fucking damage numbers. Like, dude, you know how crazy that is? And that's at a LAN. You know, nobody can say shit about you there. It's like, damn, he's just really fucking good.
Yeah, and I guess we can continue with what I think. I mean, Keon, we talked about it last night. So last night, well, maybe not. Me and you may have talked about it on a Thursday or so, but Watson leaving kind of late into like the announcement, giving Vax less time, them to get kind of acclimated again as a squad, I think definitely hurt their chances at this LAN. Keon did tweet out that like he felt like he was making a lot of mistakes and he felt like this was his worst day of competitive. Do you want to read the tweet?
Yeah, so not the results we wanted, but I just wanted to say to my teammates, Madness and Vaxilon played insane today, and the majority of mistakes that were made were my fault. Personally, played some of the worst comp Apex I've ever played. Not going to bitch or cry about it. Just wanted to say my teammates absolutely deserved to qual to grand finals and that I didn't do my job today. Anyway, we bounce back and we'll be insane for the next Pro League split. So he kind of owned up to that.
I respect that. Like, that's kind of hard after, I don't know. I mean, there's not much you can do. I mean, he was dying a lot, which is, like, some of it's his fault, of course. Like, and I think he's a good enough teammate and a good enough, like, introspective individual to know, like, dang, I think maybe I did cost, and, like, and he owned up to it. And I think he'll grow from it. Again, Keon's still pretty young in his career as well for comp stuff. So really, there's a lot. I think there's room to grow for him. So,
well, he's kind of been a part of too a lot of roster change, a lot of role change, a lot of stuff that's gone over his past year and a half or so, and that's just not going to be easy for a lot of people to do. And I think that tweet, it's very easy to have a poor reaction to how a day goes like that. But to have a tweet like that and own up to it and be like, hey, we're to come back better, I think just kind of speaks to the individual that he is.
I love how he didn't mention anything outside of just his play. Like, he didn't say, well, there was fucking 3 zones in the same exact spot. Or, well, there was he literally said, which there was. But he only said, I could have played better. He didn't point fingers at anything else. He just made sure that he owned up to what he struggled with.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, I think this Fury roster, if they decide to stick together, which I
think they should.
I think they should too.
100%. Yeah.
I think they'll continue. I mean, I think they can creep up and be one of the. I mean, they're obviously one of the top teams in A, but like even higher, reach it, be more consistent, reach it higher, stuff like that. But I didn't see too much where I'm like, they need to break up. Like that, I didn't. It didn't feel like this needs a roster change, anything like that. They just need to try and figure it out. I'm glad to see Madness back in land, like at land. I think that's good for Apex. I think having him there.
100%.
Moving. So that was one of the big teams that
Um,
obviously didn't make it on the second one. The other one, my boys, Complexity.
Guys, you know, Wyatt
You want
was
to talk
doing
down bad?
I was doing every jinx I could possibly pull out in the book. I was jinxing so hard that people thought I was actually just hating on Complexity. If you follow me on Twitter, I will do this thing where I say, congrats, you guys lost, you guys suck, to my own teams, like my own sports teams, to try and like flip it. And it's worked in the past. So I was trying to do that for Complexity. I started trying to jinx other teams in front of them.
including Cloud9.
Including Cloud9 and including SSG.
That's insane.
I had an SSG hat I bought earlier, and I was like, if I put it on, maybe they'll start to suck. Once again, it has nothing to do with the players. I know they tried real hard, but I picked Complexity as my team, and I was going to do anything and everything I could to make sure they got in. And unfortunately, that just did not. None of it worked. The depression set in early. I also tweeted out that if they didn't make Sunday, I was going to show up to the last day wearing a turtleneck. So I'm in the market for a turtleneck. And hopefully I can get one tomorrow.
It's 136 right now, so probably not tonight.
Probably not tonight. I'll probably have to do it tomorrow. And if I can't, I got to own up to it somehow. I'll probably just go turtleneck only pods for until the next LAN. Like I got to do something to right that wrong. But I love Complexity, dude, and I think that they have a legit chance. And nobody gave them a fucking shot in the world to even make this LAN. And not only do they make the LAN, they're only a couple of points off. They had 24 and 30 was the cutoff. They were 6 points away from making a Sunday. And before the season had started, nobody was even putting them near any sort of top of any list ever. In fact, they were getting a bunch of disrespect, and that's what I love so much when Kimchi came on the pod and we interviewed him and he talked about it. He was
Disrespectful.
You were disrespectful.
I did not think I did not think that the roster was going to move on. I will say Lou's stock has risen for me in my head.
Lou, dude.
Yeah, well, I just think
incredible.
Overall, I was like, okay, Lou's kind of. I feel bad saying it, but I was like, Lou's probably kind of washed right now. Like, they're just going back to what was comfortable back in the day. Like, because, I mean, they used to team a lot. And then Kimchi is...
He was a coach, and then they were like, we can't find a third, so we'll just have him play.
And honestly, that's respect for Kimchi. I haven't listened to the whole interview. But, like, that's respect for him to put in the work to grind the game back again to get his mechanics. He's always been good. He was in the ESA whenever I was in ESA. He was on Team Rockstar. And, like, he was always a good player, but not the same caliber that he is now. And I think the team flows pretty well. Okay. That being said, I do feel bad. But, yeah, I was a hater for sure. But
they just couldn't get their kills this entire tournament. It just felt like they could never get their kills that they were getting in Pro League. And I don't know exactly what that is because it felt like Monsoon was getting a lot more kills during the Pro League than he was here. But I'm not putting it all on Monsoon. Obviously, Kimchi wasn't getting a whole lot of kills either. And I don't know if he wants to continue to play or if he wants to go back to coaching, and he was kind of filling that role. But I think they can get it done. They just need to focus on getting some kills, I guess, is just...
Okay. So I get what you're saying, and I get what you're saying, like in Pro League that they were getting points, but you're so locked in on that play style when you play Rampart. The issue with Rampart is you have to get, if you're going to get kills, it's pretty much you get kills at the end game, and if you can't make it an end game, that means you can't get kills. So like it's a very, very niche play style if you are going to run a Rampart, because if you don't get zones across the map, Rampart is pretty much freaking useless. Like, I mean, trying to play offensive with Rampart is very difficult, even with like a Sheila. But like really there's not a whole lot of offensive presence that you get with a Rampart, and since that's the case, it's hard to take those isolated fights in some regards to get those kills that you're saying. So it basically, complexity is betting on them finding a decent enough spot to be able to set up Rampart walls in order to get their kills in a late game scenario.
Yeah.
Because that's really what they're doing, and that's why they're playing the third ring console if they can try and do it. But that's why I think it may have not worked whenever they couldn't necessarily find all their kills, because their legend choices and playstyle choices.
Yeah. So that sucks. I'm really excited to watch them next split. I still have yet to obviously choose my team of the split because we got to wait till it starts, but I'm still leaning heavily towards complexity because I really want to see these boys thrive. So we'll see how it goes. But
and I really think it's not very big. I mean, obviously some changes probably going to be made for them to really take that big step. But I mean, Monsoon's ability to find middle zone. I mean, the number of times you look up at the map where at the overview of everybody and they are middle zone, with how weird these zone pulls have been in this land, is actually pretty astounding to see.
And they're making Valk look really good.
And
Yes.
they were able to get into the zones that once again they just couldn't kill. They just couldn't get the kills that they wanted, you know? And
Which is shocking considering they all three run snipers.
yeah.
Like rats,
Yeah.
dude.
And I gotta say, there's not many things more fun to watch than Lou on a Sheila.
Yeah, Lou on a Sheila, Monsoon with a Sentinel. Like there's not a, like that's excitement. That's excitement. So I'm very excited to see what the future is for complexity, but I think they're going to be heading back to split 2 land. Not to get too far out of myself, but very excited for complexity. If I don't wear a turtleneck tomorrow, I make a promise to the podcast for that for the rest of the pods leading into split number 2. I will be rocking a turtleneck on pod. And that's going to be doing a lot because I live in a town where it can get 115 during summertime. So it's going to be hot, and I'm going to bear through it because I made the promise. I have to stick with that promise. I would like to go through giving some flowers to some of these teams.
Yeah, there's so
that
much.
died.
I'm realizing there's a lot of stories.
So many great ones, like Made in Heaven. Made in Heaven.
I really
Dude,
like them.
Really liked them. They are EMEA, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Made in Heaven. They had like an exclusive that they played on inside the arena while we were waiting.
I think they play those on stream too.
They did. Okay,
I think they do.
dude. Made in Heaven, awesome. Red Rams. We were super impressed with Red Rams this entire tournament. Like they were awesome, man.
I think it's, controversial start for Wyatt, but then I think
I
Red
was
Rams.
less mad at Red Rams. I was more mad at wonton dumplings.
Yeah, which
I'm not handing them flowers. I will not. I'm not going to hand them flowers.
We
You
won't get
got-
into that. It's an
you
extra
got-
20 minutes we don't need to go into.
We don't, yeah, that's an extra 20. I won't give them flowers. If you guys want to give them flowers, you can do that. I just really feel like they're a good team that costed themselves. I think they
I think in
shot
some
themselves in the foot.
yeah, I mean, that being said, they looked pretty good off that initial fight on World's Edge, and I was like, oh no, is TSM about to go home to a team named Wonton Dumplings?
Yeah, and that was also funny that we didn't really talk about TSM in this block because, like you said, it felt like everything was solidified by game 4, like which teams were going to be
Right.
fine. TSM was one of those, but after the first game, people were like, uh-oh, this is bad because
Dude,
they lose the contest, but then they bounce back like, literally immediately, and it never really felt like they were in any danger after game 1.
Bro, I thought their TSM's mental was going to be chalked,
And it
after
wasn't.
that. It wasn't, but I was like, that was one of those tilters where they had one down, and so it's a 2v3, and instead of like healing up and playing it slow, they were playing kind of more aggressively to try and get the kills, like secure the kills before the other team had left. And because of that, like they were just overextending without any like cover, and then boom, get bodied, and then it turned south so fast, bro.
Well, and one thing I was thinking about too is that I know there was an instance where I think Hal and Reps were trying to take the Horizon queue up to get height, and it literally went away as soon as they got to it. And I wonder if that threw off the timing of the rest of the entire 3v3 because it just seemed like the rest from, what should have been a pretty easy wipe. Hal gets wiped out at the head, the heady that they had there. And then, just, maybe controversial ref's decision to stick the res there. But,
stuff, yeah.
Again, that's split second decisions. I'm not a pro player, so I'm not going to bash on him too much. But it, that just felt really clunky when that should have been a pretty easy wipe.
Yeah. Geared Gaming, another team I want to give flowers to. Geared Gaming. That's another SA team, is it not?
I believe they are South America.
SA.
Yes, they are South America.
SA showed out, dude. SA did well
For not having a pro league.
Yeah.
Pretty remarkable how good they did.
Showed out.
Yeah.
They didn't make it, but bro, they did well when they Geared Gaming won one of the blocks.
Yeah, they won losers round 1.
They dominated
and
too.
it was, dude, they were fighting so well together. It was awesome to watch. So shout out Geared Gaming, man. I'm giving flowers to Geared Gaming, giving flowers to Maiden Heaven, giving flowers to Red Rams. And
not wonton dumplings.
I'll give a pedal to wonton dumplings. Half a pedal.
Another thing, this is when I think people really got frustrated with the zones here. And something that I'm going to talk about is Alliance right now. Alliance gets 10th place. They do secure it, but so getting into the DSG Alliance thing, I'll probably get more into it in a moment, but Alliance takes trials on World's Edge here, and instead of contesting on thermal, which I think is probably a smart play for both teams to do that. But Alliance taking trials. There are 3 trial zones, 3 in a row, all of them. And Alliance comes away through 3 games with the zone coming straight to them, 6 points. Mm-hmm. 6 points. To me, that's unacceptable.
Even though that's not their drop spot?
No, it doesn't matter. You play power positions, yeah, but dude, they kept playing backside trials, which is fine. Backside towards the pole, which is they were playing pole side, which the game in which I believe it was Verholst ratted and almost won, or that game.
Was that Cloud9 was there, or was it?
I don't think Cloud9 won that, but it was E8 was fighting complexity and in that little compound stuff. That was the only one then which I was okay, I'm okay with them playing back there. But I think they should have been playing top trials for the majority of those 2 things, in my opinion. And I'm not sure if they didn't do that the whole time. What I'm trying to say is 6 points, having zone come to you whenever the zones have been so inconsistent. You have to capitalize on whenever a zone does come to you. They had 3 chances to do so. They come away with 6 points. I don't care if you don't land there all the time. You do know what power spots are. You do know how to take opportunities, especially that team that has so much experience. Hackett alone literally tweeted out he hasn't not made a finals as well. So I thought that they really disappointed in that. One of those games actually did get tossed by Effect because Effect was playing height on a little cliffside and he fell straight into a fight, and then they were forced to fight and then they died. So in that regard, I'll be okay, that was directly his fault, but I don't know. I was just really... It was such a weird circumstance where all 3 zones are in the same spot, and then 2... I have not seen it in a professional play that a team, even if it isn't their POI, doesn't get more than 6 points when a zone is coming to you. You just have such an advantage.
You're gifted a mountain,
dude.
To be
it is
on,
crazy.
A literal mountain to be on.
Yeah, and I think I don't know. I didn't hear a lot of people talking about it, so I had to bring it up because I was just shocked by this. And then, where did they get? Did they go Cenote? Where did they go? On Storm Point. In the first game of Storm Point, goes straight to them.
I think you are right, because I think that first zone did go to the Cenote cave.
It was a Cenote?
Yeah, because I do remember being that's literally the fourth zone they've been
that
given.
was 4, and like I think they did okay in that game. Hold on, I can see actually. I sound like a hater right now, and I don't
think it's a hate. I think you bring up a good point.
Like it's just.
I think it's just the expectations of that roster.
Well, you see what they're doing in group, and it's like they have the stigma of being the team that is only good in groups, and they can't. They'll make it to the finals. Like for the example, I think champs they made it to finals, and then they get 17th, 16th place. Like they just can't put it together. And I'm like, oh gosh, is this happening again? Type of deal. So.
Yeah. So
anyway,
other than that, I gave out all my flowers. Alliance they do end up making it by 2 points, and I believe that took to like the last game before they get in. Luminosity, they did look a lot better, but there is still some sloppiness there.
So bad.
So we'll see how that goes going into finals. But Sweet has made it back to a Sunday, and for Slayer and for Funk, it is their first LAN, so we do have to. I do think you got to cut a little bit of slack there. But we'll see how they perform tomorrow. This would be hilarious if this is the time that Sweet wins in this circumstance. Because there were teams that you felt like you probably could have won with a lot easier that he didn't. And then now you're like, this team, there's no way they're winning anything. And then they still make a Sunday. And if they're able to pull it off tomorrow, then that would be just poetic justice. It'd be so funny.
It would be funny.
It would be hilarious. And I know we talked about Elevate, but once again, Zach is playing out of his mind. Disguised, they also they felt comfortable the whole time.
Can I say EA? Speaking on Zach, and I have not seen Zach play this good since early, like mid 2020. I believe is whenever it was happening. Maybe later 2020, whenever he was IGLing, he had left FlyQuest. Doing his own thing, and he had played with Naughty and he played with Noct, and also Andrew and Humed at one point. But that was whenever I think Zach was like maybe potentially playing the best Apex that he was. That was whenever they won that, or they got second place in that NA online like winter circuit, which was like a huge deal back in the day, like all those circuits and stuff. But I think that was the best Zach was doing like up until that point, and then kind of had his ups and downs. But right now, like Wyatt said, I wholeheartedly believe like this is the best Zach that we have seen in a few years, I would say, which is great. Again, for the scene, bigger name, been around for a while. Pretty big personality, obviously Mazer moments, hilarious, but also remarkable at the same time. I was talking to Jayhawk specifically about this. He said that whenever he was talking to Zach, said that team, the team that of Naughty and Noct, reminds him a lot of the team of Shuby and Zap, and how I believe it was Zap is a lot like Noct. And then Shuby, it could be flip-flopped actually. Anyway, they remind him of that team. So I thought that was interesting to hear Jayhawk's perspective of hearing, I guess, his conversation with Zach.
Yeah, and I think you just tell from that piece they did about them talk about not getting the invite directly to the Pro League and all that. You could just tell, I think, that he was like, all right, I'm going to be locked in this split, and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that there's no excuses for us not to get where we need to be. And it's actually been insane to watch. And obviously, too, shout out to Zap and Shuby. I mean, just the numbers they put up in that last set. I mean, 15 kills for Shuby, 13 for Zap. I mean, I wish I honestly would have picked my prize picks for that. But,
yeah,
I mean, just awesome job by that team. It's been great to watch.
So I think what else Zach shows is how much hard work, if you put in enough of it to get better at your craft, how quickly you can turn things around. Zach was getting hated on relentlessly over the last few years. Like people saying, why is this guy still on teams? Like people were calling him out, being like, why is he on teams? And now he's in here. IGLing his team to a LAN. Not only that, now you're on a final. Not only that, people are fucking picking you to win this thing because they're like, this guy's just getting his teams in correct spots. You can't tell me all the hard work he's put in to get to this point is going to waste. Like he is playing his best right now.
I agree.
And I also think it goes into what you guys are saying too with the teammates. Like sometimes you just need to be in the right situation. Sometimes the situations you're in leading up to it are kind of like patchwork, makeshift, maybe not the best situation for you. He kept at it, kept trying to find the teammates that he felt like were going to help him out. And even before this started, like the people who really watch, like Jayhawk was saying that E8 was a team before Pro League started that was going to surprise people. And he was 100% correct. And a lot of people weren't looking at it that way. They were not believing in this team. And now here they are.
Let's not forget, Shuby turned down 0. A trial was 0, a.k.a. with DZ, for Madness. I don't think 0 would ask somebody, because I believe it was only like 2 or 3 people. I don't think he would ask and try potentially to poach a team like somebody if he didn't believe in somebody. And if you... I mean, the 0 is very open about watching a lot of VOD. He'll watch his VOD like straight up after a game. He'll do straight. I mean, it's not the same thing as like what Hod does, like Hodsick. But for example, like 0 watches a lot of VOD, so he must have watched Shuby's POV and liked it a lot in order to him to be like, "Hey, I want a trial." Again, we go back to the interview that we had with him, but he ended up choosing Madness over, like being loyal to Madness over doing the whole 0 thing. Anyway, that's to say, hey, this is a really talented kid is what I was really trying to get at. And then having Zach putting him in the correct spot, and then Zap kind of like an underrated controller fragger right now, but more of a get in your face glue guy.
Yeah.
Big glue guy.
Glue guy.
Big glue guy.
Glue guy energy. Okay. Well, ladies and gents, we're going to hit a quick ad.
Oh, yeah.
And then on the other side, we're going to get into prediction time.
Okay.
It's prediction time for tomorrow.
Okay.
You ready for this?
Dude, yeah, let's run it because my voice is going out.
My voice is almost out.
Yeah.
It's almost out. So we got to do it. All right. Let's get it.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to do the... Well, I want to do one more thing.
Okay. All right. We'll do it right at the start. You guys ready? Mm-hmm. Here we go.
Let's do it.
3, 2, 1. All right, ladies and gents, we're gonna round it out. We've got Donnie over here. He's sitting in the seat, and it's prediction time. Finn, you said you wanted to talk about one more thing before we go to the predictions.
I just wanted to say, well, there's... okay, sorry. I have 2. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I actually am.
Just do it.
Okay. One thing I was very surprised is I didn't see the DSG revenge tour of trying to screw over Alliance, because again, Alliance had 6 points after 3 games. DSG had like 23 or 24, enough to where it's like, I guess they thought it might have been too much of a potential risk, but I was very surprised to see DSG not land on Alliance at least one game to test the waters of, hey, if we completely shut down this team, we don't have to worry about them ever coming back to thermal in regards to like, and Northpad. So like, I was a bit surprised to that. I don't know where they're landing. I'll have to wait for Minus Tempo to update where everybody's landing.
I think I've got a picture that we can look at here in a minute.
Gotcha. I don't want that to end up biting Disguise in the ass.
I don't think it will.
Okay.
I don't think it will. I think Alliance... I could be wrong.
I just am a little bit worried.
Well, I think that was a good call, too, because didn't Alliance do that to DSG, like, not even a day ago?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
he's in, like, the
that's
revenge
I'm saying.
tour.
I wanted DSG to do like an Uno reverse card to them.
Yeah.
But I didn't. They didn't end up doing it, even though I think they probably could have. So that was my one point, and then my second point. Koifel's pretty good at the game.
Koifel's very good.
Dude's disgusting.
Dude's a super sub for Legends, and I'm impressed with the kid, and I really I want him to be able to get into a spot where I don't know if he'll ever get to the point where he's able to play Legends that are not just like full ape, full like send, even though I do think that that's probably his best play style. But I think this guy can turn into like an all-timer if we can get him into a legend pool that is not just only those type of legends, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I want this kid to be able to be like more flexible, stuff like that. But I think that is up to the people around him or for whatever team he ends up joining next. That being said, I got a Koifel little trading card thing.
Hell yeah.
And I will be keeping it.
Hell yeah. We gotta get that
And
signed.
player K,
Player K.
who hit a nasty snipe on Sweet first game with that Kraber.
Yeah.
All right. Predictions
Slayer's
time.
fault.
Sorry.
All right. You guys
Slayer's
ready?
fault.
You guys ready for predictions?
Let's do it.
Okay. Here's what we're gonna do.
Excuse me.
I want you guys to choose your top 3. One dark horse. All right.
Hold on. Let me even see who's.
I'll pull this list.
I can go first.
Of course. Okay.
I'm very confident in this, which then in turn makes me feel
Top
not
3?
confident at all. I'm going to start off with my third team. I think third team, throw your 9s up.
Dude. No.
Get your 9s up.
Okay.
Wow.
So I'm looking at
The drop spots?
drop stops
Okay.
real quick.
Yeah, this was tweeted
Third?
from Sven, just in case anybody was wondering what we're looking at.
Where's Alliance going? Where am I seeing? Alliance is going dome. What?
Interesting.
I don't know if they're gonna stay there.
Yeah, that's probably.
I feel like that might be a. Actually, I don't know. I think Alliance is smart enough that they wouldn't contest on a finals. Sorry, White. Continue on, but I did want to see that, so that might
That's fine
that might
because-
influence my decisions.
I just changed my mind. Third place. I'm taking C9 out.
Okay.
I'm going E8.
Okay.
E8, I'm going third. Second place, Dark Zero. First place, Fnatic. And
Wow.
my dark horse, Reject Winity. Because
The crazy thing is, like,
Bro.
are they even a?
but that's the thing is like they're always hanging around. Like me and Donnie were talking about it the entire time. It's like, did we even see them at all? But somehow they're second place.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of times that I'm sitting there, I'm looking up, because for those who aren't attending the LAN, they have a board of, they'll show the teams, their
like
points,
updates
as
yeah.
teams die. And just the number of times you look up and Reject is still a part of the lobby when it's top 4, top 5, and there hasn't been one mention of them. Like, it's actually insane.
They don't really get talked about, but
No.
they're my dark horse. They were hovering around the entire LAN.
And they'll have 9 starting points going in.
And they have 9 points going into this. But my winner's Fnatic. Who's next?
Trying to think here.
Bro, I think you're faded if you don't put DZ in right now with their form.
I
So
did put him in. I put him second.
No, right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, just like as in,
Oh,
in a
in
general.
general.
Yeah. I really like Virtuous Pro.
Virtuous Pro.
But I was a little sad that I didn't get my prediction from last night correct into today, even though I thought it was about to be a banger pick. I thought because after like 2 games they were winning, or they were in second place.
I'm gonna
Go for it.
throw one more thing in there.
Sure.
Rooting team. Because I just picked these teams based on what I think was gonna happen.
Okay,
but the
so we
team I'm
gotta
rooting
pick
for,
a 3, a dark horse, and whatever team.
the
if
team you just want to win.
Sure, go for it.
The team I want to win, throw your 9s up.
Yeah, okay.
Cloud9. Throw
Perfect.
your 9s up.
Throw your 9s up,
Get your
everybody.
9s up. That's my rooting team.
Do you want me to go, or are you going to go?
You go, Donnie.
All right, so I'll start with a team I'm rooting for. I think just because it would be one of the craziest pop-offs we'd see if they ended up winning would be Disguised.
Yes.
I think we would have just about every single piece of content for the next year if they won. And
so many videos.
If y'all don't want to hear design talk, then you better block his Twitter because you already know what that's gonna be like.
Design,
which I'm here for, by the way. But
Design's another guy who has championship celebration energy.
Yeah.
But he celebrates by himself, which is so funny. And he's talking to him. He's hyping himself up. Like he's just like talking to himself in the corner. It's so funny.
They all three individually play out the crowd though well because they don't really hug each other well, but like they will all be pumping up the crowd every single time.
You've got Timmy who's just a hype man. You've got Design who's just the crazy guy in the corner hyping himself up, and then you've got Enemy who's there for the memes.
You got Enemy. I mean, literally, I don't know if you guys saw it, but he was spinning around in his chair at one point in the middle of the games, and I'm just like, how much more relaxed can a team be? Which, like, again, I think at that point, they had 30 or so points, so they weren't too worried. But, like, I mean, it's just the cool, calm collectiveness of that group.
Exactly.
With the expectations they do have is incredible. Is awesome to watch. Love to see it.
So that's your rooting.
So my rooting, I would say my dark horse might go off a little bit here with this one. Again, I would say Reject, since you said that one. I'll go Kinotrope.
Okay.
I think that again, that's a team
one.
outside of because I think they were into winners 1 and then had to go to losers 2. If I remember that correctly. But again, I think a team that's been around has had the big pop off games they need, and really what we see in these finals lobbies, with the teams like Optic and these teams that get off to fast starts. If they can get off to a fast start, I think they can be a team that can close it out quick with their ability. Because I know they've won multiple games so far. I think they actually won back-to-back games at one point today. But yeah, I think that would be my dark horse. And then, man, this lobby is just so stacked when you look at it. I would say third, I'm going to ride the E8 train.
Okay.
I think that, again, just with
get your eights up.
Get your eights up.
Oh, my God.
I think we're big numbers people here, if you can't tell.
Yeah.
No, I just think that with their ability, again, with Zach playing the way he is, and then just how Zap and Shuby have just been able to handle the moment so far. I think that, again, I think we can carry that into tomorrow. I think second, I'll go with Fnatic. And then I think as much as, and it's not because I hate them, just so we don't start rumors here, but I think Dark Zero is going to end up winning it.
Dark Zero takes it.
Yeah. I'm sorry to not be the fun one.
No,
but
it's fine. It's fine. I like it. I like how. I mean, they have to be on somebody's number one.
Yeah.
They got to be there. Finn, it's up to you. And I know you take these seriously.
Dude, I'm having a hard time with this.
Yeah. Well, let's start off with your rooting interest. That's easy.
Like, who am I rooting for?
Yeah.
Like, who do I think?
Just
like, who do I want to win?
You just want them to win.
I really do want. I do want Cloud9. I want.
Throw your nines up.
I want Naughty to win.
Yeah.
I specifically would like Naughty to win, or Tyler to win. Or DSG. Like I don't. They're my friends. I legitimately just want them to win more than. Like I don't know. So those are like my. I just want them to win, and then I've got the. Let's go top 3. Like. In order, or
just go
does
3,
it need
2,
to
1.
be 3? Okay, or it needs to be like I think this will be the top 3.
No, don't do that. I want 3, 2, 1.
This team will be 3. This one. If
you just throw 3 teams in a bucket.
Okay,
like,
you ready
right.
then?
Yes.
I'll go DZ, not moist.
DZ third.
No, that was second.
Not moist third.
Excuse me, DZ, not moist.
So 1, 2.
Yeah, sorry.
1 and 2, and then 3.
Dude, I'm gonna get shit on if I don't. I gotta say TSM.
Okay, TSM third, and now
Yeah.
you're dark horse.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Serenity, but they're not really a dark horse because they have.
I think people would call them a dark horse, even though they have the 8 extra points.
They have a person on their team that has 1 a LAN. So,
But I still think people look at him as like a dark horse because you still have the 2 other members of the team.
I feel really bad not saying that for like Fnatic, but I couldn't say Fnatic would be a dark horse. I do think
Dark horse would be like Donnie's pick.
I think Reject Winity actually is a pretty solid dark horse, but like
They've been around the top the whole time.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's hard to say a true dark horse with most of these teams supposed to be in this lobby. So it's hard, but like if we're talking a team that is not necessarily picked to win, I would say yes, my pick is Serenity.
Well, I think even coming in, a lot of tier lists didn't necessarily have them as like, top 5 God Slayers type area. So I think if you're picking really money outside of that area, I think I'd call them a dark horse.
There we go.
Yeah.
So those are your picks?
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's so hard because it's like, of course, I want to see Zach win, right? And I think Shuby would be great. And then how troll would it be with LG winning? Like, hilarious.
That would be if I had to choose one for just pure hilarity, it's LG.
Like SSG, of course, you want Phony to win.
Yes.
Like, and that team is a solid and like could win. That's the crazy thing. A lot of these teams, if they have a good day, they get a good zone, they have a pop-off game, they have a chance to win. Like, I don't think I'm looking through and I'm like, there's not very many teams that I would say like, I don't think they have a chance. Because there's always a chance, but I had to put TSM and I had to put DZ in there because those are the only people to have done it before. So like,
and until they give you a reason to not believe it, you got to pick it.
And especially in like the only one I would have said was because DZ last time they didn't make it to finals. Like I think they just have that little chip on their shoulder to prove like, hey, no, we are the best team in the world. And so that's why I'm putting them at first because I think between them and TSM, I think they are the most motivated to win.
Okay. Well, there we go. Predictions are out. Tomorrow's going to be awesome. I cannot wait. Once again, if you guys see us down there in the crowd or if you're at LAN and you want to say what's up, don't be afraid to say what's up. If you're listening to this on audio, thank you guys for listening throughout this entire stretch. We've been staying up late for y'all, and we wouldn't have it any other way. It's been awesome. This LAN has been a great experience. It's been so much fun. Okay, this is it. Tomorrow's it. I can't wait to see what happens. We will. I don't know what we're gonna do for pod wise tomorrow.
I have no clue. But
Because we might just wait until we get back home to get like the interview or whatever, or we might just fuck it and run it again.
We might just run it right after. I think we might just run it right after and then go and do whatever after.
Okay.
Like I feel like we should just get it done with and then do whatever, right?
Yeah, I think that's fine. But we'll keep you guys updated. But either way, thank you guys for tuning into the streams this week. If you're watching on Twitch and if you're listening on audio, once again, thank you guys as always. We will probably see you guys tomorrow and have fun watching Year 4 Split number 1 LAN Finals. We'll see you guys soon. See ya. Dang.
Thanks for watching stream.
Thanks for watching stream.
I'm going to bed, bro.